In a quiet village in the eastern part of Nigeria, surrounded by lush green forests and winding rivers, there lived a girl named Ada. Her once radiant smile had faded after her mother passed away, leaving her with a hollow sadness in her heart. She now lived in a home that felt foreign, despite being her own, because her father, Papa Uzo, had remarried. Mama Uzo, his new wife, was gentle and soft-spoken. She came from a family known for their kindness, but to Ada, she was just another woman who had come to replace her mother. The thought of Mama Uzo trying to step into her mother's shoes was too much for Ada to bear. Mama Uzo tried her best to make Ada feel comfortable. She cooked Ada's favorite dishes, jollof rice, pounded yam, and the sweetest fried plantains. Every morning, Mama Uzo would make Ada breakfast, placing it on the table with a smile. She would say, "I made this just for you, Ada. I hope you like it." But Ada's heart was cold. "Why do you even bother?" she would retort. "You'll never be my mother. My mother is dead, and you can't replace her." Despite the bitterness in Ada's words, Mama Uzo never gave up. She would softly reply, "I'm not trying to replace her, Ada. I just want you to know that I care." But Ada wouldn't hear of it. Every kind gesture from Mama Uzo was met with resistance. One evening, when Mama Uzo tried to braid Ada's hair, Ada jerked away, angry. "Stop trying to be my mother," she shouted. "Leave me alone." Papa Uzo was torn between his love for Ada and his new wife, but Mama Uzo bore it all quietly. A few months later, something strange began to happen. Ada, now growing more distant, started hearing faint whispers in the night. At first, she thought it was just the wind, but the whispers were always there, creeping in just as she was about to fall asleep. "Ada, come to us, come alone," the voices would say, faint but compelling. The voices filled her with an unsettling curiosity. One night, unable to resist, Ada slipped out of her room and into the cool night air. The village was eerily quiet, and the moonlight filtered through the trees, casting strange shadows on the ground. Following the whispers, she found herself walking into the dense forest that lay on the outskirts of the village. The deeper she went, the more the whispers grew, until she reached a clearing. There, on a stone pedestal, was a glowing silver box. The air around it seemed to hum with energy. A shadowy figure stepped out of the darkness. "Ada," the figure spoke in a voice that chilled her to the bone. "This box holds the power to take away your pain, to make you forget everything. But be warned, the price is steep. Are you ready to pay it?" Ada stood frozen. Her hand hovered over the box, drawn to it like a moth to a flame. But before she could touch it, she heard a familiar voice calling her name. "Ada." Turning around, Ada saw Mama Uzo running toward her. Her face was filled with concern, and Ada could see that she was out of breath. "What are you doing here?" Ada asked, surprised. "I followed you," Mama Uzo said, her voice full of worry. "I could sense something was wrong when you slipped out. Please, Ada, listen to me." The shadowy figure hissed in anger. "Leave, woman. This is none of your concern." Mama Uzo ignored the figure, stepping closer to Ada. "I know you're hurting, Ada. I know you miss your mother, and I know you've been angry at me. But you don't have to do this. I'm here for you, and I always will be." Ada's anger flared. "You don't understand. I've lost everything. You'll never be my mother." Tears welled in Mama Uzo's eyes, but her voice was steady. "I'm not trying to replace your mother, Ada. I just want to be here for you, as a mother would." The shadowy figure laughed, its voice dark and menacing. "She only pities you, Ada. Take the box, and all your pain will disappear." Mama Uzo stepped forward, placing her hand gently on Ada's shoulder. "No, Ada. Don't let the darkness control you. You don't need to make a deal with shadows. You need love, true love, and you already have it." For the first time in months, Ada's heart softened. She looked into Mama Uzo's eyes, and what she saw there was not pity, but a deep, unwavering love. Slowly, Ada stepped back from the box. The shadowy figure screeched in anger before vanishing into the night. As they walked back to the house, Ada remained silent, struggling to process what had just happened. She was unsure whether to trust this newfound love, but the warmth in Mama Uzo's touch left her with a feeling of comfort and peace. Over the next few months, Mama Uzo's love and care for Ada began to manifest in even more profound ways. One day, after noticing that Ada had grown distant and withdrawn, Mama Uzo decided it was time to teach Ada things that would help her grow into a strong, well-rounded woman. She started by teaching Ada how to cook, something Ada had never learned. Every morning, Mama Uzo would show Ada how to make different dishes, from steaming the perfect jollof rice to making mouth-watering stews and fried plantains. At first, Ada was hesitant, thinking she would never get it right, but Mama Uzo was patient. She would guide Ada's hands gently as she stirred the pot, saying, "Cooking is about love, Ada. Every dish you make should have a bit of your heart in it." As the days went by, Ada grew more confident in the kitchen, and the act of cooking became an outlet for her emotions. It was during these quiet, shared moments that the two of them grew closer, their bond strengthening with each meal prepared together. Mama Uzo also taught Ada manners, the importance of respect and kindness. She explained how to greet elders properly, how to carry oneself with grace, and how to speak kindly to others. Ada, who had grown up angry and rebellious, began to understand the significance of these lessons. But Mama Uzo didn't stop there. She also took the time to explain to Ada how to take care of her body, especially when it came to her period. One day, Mama Uzo sat Ada down and said, "Ada, there are things about being a woman that you'll need to understand. Taking care of yourself during your period is very important. You must be clean and healthy, and don't be afraid to speak up if something doesn't feel right." Ada had always been embarrassed about this topic, but Mama Uzo spoke to her so gently and with such care that Ada no longer felt ashamed. Mama Uzo explained everything: how to use pads, the importance of proper hygiene, and even how to deal with mood swings and cramps. For the first time, Ada felt empowered to embrace womanhood instead of feeling burdened by it. As Ada grew older, Mama Uzo continued to support her dreams. When Ada expressed a desire to go to school, Mama Uzo worked tirelessly to make it happen. She spoke to Papa Uzo, explaining that Ada had the potential to achieve great things if given the chance. Despite their financial struggles, Mama Uzo was determined to make it happen. She sold some of her jewelry, took on extra work in the village, and saved every penny she could. Eventually, she found a local sponsor who was willing to support Ada's education, and she was able to send Ada to school. Mama Uzo woke up early every morning to make Ada breakfast and packed her lunch, no matter how tired she was. Ada began to thrive in school, and with each passing year, she gained more confidence. Mama Uzo would visit her school to check on her progress, always encouraging Ada to do her best. The school years were tough, and Ada struggled with self-doubt at first. She missed her mother, and the pain still lingered, but every time she thought about quitting, she remembered Mama Uzo's sacrifices. When Ada graduated from high school, she was not only at the top of her class, she had excelled in all subjects and earned the prestigious title of first-class student. The entire village was proud of her, but Ada's heart swelled with gratitude for the woman who had given her everything, despite not being her biological mother. On the day of her graduation, Ada stood before her classmates, holding her certificate proudly. "I owe this achievement to one person," she said, her voice full of emotion. "Mama Uzo. She believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. She gave me the courage to pursue my dreams." Tears glistened in Mama Uzo's eyes as she watched Ada, the daughter she had come to love as her own, speak from the heart. The village festival was fast approaching, and the entire village was bustling with excitement. The night before the festival, Mama Uzo surprised Ada with a beautiful dress she had sewn by hand. The fabric was bright, the colors vibrant, and the design was simple yet elegant. Ada's eyes filled with surprise and appreciation. "You made this for me?" "Yes, my dear. It's for the festival tomorrow," Mama Uzo replied, smiling. "I thought you'd like it." As they walked together to the festival, hand in hand, Ada felt a warmth in her heart that she had never felt before. The village elders invited Ada to speak, and when she stepped up to the podium, she looked out at the crowd. "This is Mama Uzo," Ada said, her voice steady but filled with emotion. "She is not just my stepmother, she is my mother. She has shown me what love truly is, and for that, I will forever be grateful." The entire village applauded, and Mama Uzo's eyes filled with tears of joy. Ada had finally accepted her love, and the bitterness in her heart had melted away. Years passed, and Ada grew into a strong, loving woman, much like Mama Uzo. When Ada had children of her own, she would tell them the story of how Mama Uzo had never given up on her, how her stepmother had loved her when she could have walked away. She would tell her children that love was not just about blood, it was about patience, sacrifice, and forgiveness. The story of Ada and Mama Uzo became a legend in the village, a tale of how love can heal even the deepest scars. It was a reminder that a mother's love, whether biological or not, could move mountains and change lives forever.